Johnny, do kids get to use their imagination today or what? Kids using their imagination, Johnny. Kids using their imagination? I don't think they're using their imagination at all. No, not at all. Why, there was a time, Johnny, when everyone had to use their imagination back in those golden years of radio. Radio shows? Oh, Jesus. Yeah, radio. Everyone would sit around the radio. There was no bloody internet. There was no bloody mobile phones. There was not even TV. And you'd sit there by the fire and you'd listen to these bloody old shows. Johnny, kids aren't going to sit around on their ass and listen to radio shows. It's not going to happen.
Again, Gem Blades, the razor blades that help you avoid 5 o'clock shadow, bring you the adventures of the Falcon.
Yeah, there were detective bloody serials and there was bloody all sorts of...
The Falcon, as you know, is Michael Waring, freelance detective, who's always ready with a hand for oppressed men and an eye for repressed women. It's a rainy Tuesday evening in New York. The city streets are deserted, save for a dark red convertible which is parked at the curb. And at the wheel sits Brenda Sinclair, fondling her pet Pekingese, whining.
Oh, yeah!
Johnny, I told you that.
Well, how about I guess that?
Oh, maybe Shorty Wells. I don't know.
Why? It's our star to tell you about tomorrow's episode of this week's story. Tomorrow, an old flame and a new one, and 2 men get burned.
Yeah, there was the Lone Ranger. That's how he got his bloody start, Johnny, back then. Oh, the Lone Ranger, Jesus.
Boys gather round their campfires. They still tell stories of the most picturesque and colorful character ever to ride the plains. As our story opens, we find the Lone Ranger and his loyal Indian friend Tonto racing toward the flaming buildings of the Box X Ranch. Get him up, boy! It looks like more work of the raiders, Tonto. That's right. Come on, Silver! We might get there in time to find the clue. The old man left lying there.
Oh, have a listen to that one. And then there were the goons, Johnny. The goons! What a trio those blokes were.
They're over here, mate. Here. Come in, pal. Get your trouties on, hurry, Judy. Look at this.
Well, now put the screens around bed number 2, that he may not have to listen to the story of the search for Rummel's treasure. Oh!
And they come up with bloody radio shows full of just bullshit. Funny bullshit, but bullshit nonetheless. And it had the bloody audience in stitches.
The table next to him. Gad, how cunningly he was disguised. Stark naked, save for a sou'wester, string lorgnette, and a pair of identical plimsolls.
Oh, right.
Now I come to think of it, I do remember something. What? In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue.
But weirdly enough, Johnny, they decided to film the goons producing a radio show, which was a bit strange in itself, but it went on to be popular too. But we were lucky that it captured some of the bloody antics.
Please, Captain, you have been specially selected for a specially dangerous mission. Does this mean I've been specially selected for a specially dangerous mission? So you guessed. You're no fool. I don't know, then. Tikhon, you ought to make your way to Budapest via Hungary, or Hungary via Budapest, whichever you prefer. Will I have to go abroad? If all else fails, yes.
We were lucky that it caught these boys in action.
It's a dangerous work. I suppose I'll have to take risks? Yes, and a small pot of tea. What does it mean? It means you've been chosen to go abroad with a packet of risks and a small pot of tea. Now, Nicholas, do you know your way out of this desert? Oh, I can't say I do. Well, say something else. I don't.
Goons are still being played today, Johnny. The goons are still popular today. But Johnny, wasn't there one radio broadcast that shocked the entire country of the USA? The biggest bloody stir, Johnny, was way back in 1936 or whatever, when Orson Welles, he produced a radio program based on the H.G. Wells book, War of the Worlds, and he put it out there, he put the radio show out there so convincing that half the bloody country thought they were being invaded. By aliens. Johnny, it can't be. There was bloody panic and Christ knows what, people crashing into one another. There are all sorts of bloody stuff. They just believed it.
Assumption that those strange beings who landed in the Jersey farmlands tonight are the vanguard of an invading army from the planet Mars.
Oh, it sounds like bullshit.
Martial law prevails throughout New Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania. At this time, we take you to Washington for a special broadcast on the national emergency.
Jesus, they're pretty good.
Citizens of the nation, I shall not try to...
I mean, he was persecuted, Johnny. He was bloody persecuted.
7,000 men armed with rifles and machine guns pitted against a single fighting machine of the invaders from Mars. 120 known survivors. The rest strewn over the battle area from Grover's Mill to Plainsboro, crushed and trampled to death under the metal feet of the monster, or burned to cinders by its heat ray.
Because if you hadn't tuned in at the start, Johnny, you wouldn't have been aware that it was just a radio broadcast. The point I'm making, Johnny, is that you had to use your imagination to get into these bloody serials, and that's something that, I don't, you know, Johnny, I've often wondered, and that's something I don't even think's been talked about today.
Hovering on the stairs.
That is the great international leaper and balloonist extraordinaire, Lecomte Viscomte de Comte Jim Wins.
There is one saving grace though, Johnny. They're doing these bloody audio books that sort of just, they read out the book as it happens, but it hasn't got the same bloody oomph with the sound effects that these bloody early radio shows had.
Here's Dick Powell as Richard Diamond, private detective. Why? The man he threatened is already dead. Why would he go after you?
Maybe to get even. He told me he hated me when I broke off with him.
Have a listen to that. And I think we'd be a much better society if we listened to a hell of a lot more bloody old radio shows. Oh, that's a bloody ridiculous bloody statement.